My name is Casper, and my signal molecule is antigen and cell-mediated immune response. To start learning the foundation about the signal molecule, you need to know the source of the signal. So the source of the signal is a pathogen, such as a virus or bacteria that has entered the body. So these antigens are recognized by special immune cells called T cells, which begin to attack and destroy the invading pathogen. The next thing you need to know about this signal molecule is what important roles are played. So, for example, white blood cells called lymphocytes play an important role in cell-mediated immunity and are known as T cells. So, they can include cytotoxic T cells, helper T cells, and suppressor T cells. So, those are the three big things to remember. So, with this, T cells respond to antigen located on pathogens. So these antigens contain regions called antigenic determinants that work to activate T cells. The said T cells are then able to connect to these antigen determinants. So these pathogens can be seen circled right here on these images to get a good grasp of what we're talking about. And on this image, you can see how the T cell is able to connect to that antigen determinant. So that's a good visual representation. So another good thing to know about the signal molecule is that the antigens can also be displayed on other cells, such as macrophages. The macrophage displays the antigen on an area called the major histocompatibility complex. There are two types of MHC proteins. Type 1 displays antigens made inside of the cell, and type 2 displays antigens from the pathogens. So another thing to know is that there are different types of receptors on the immune cells that recognize and bind antigens. So the most noticeable are the TCRs and the BCRs. So the biggest difference on these is that the TCRs bind to specific peptide antigens and BCRs bind to specific antigens. So that's the biggest difference to know from those. So once one of the lymphocytes connects to the antigen via the antigen receptor, the macrophage is able to respond by secreting proteins or peptide substances called cytokines. So now if you wanted to see this whole pathway in a bigger picture, we just went over every step here. You can see the cytokines, the helper cells, the cytotoxic T cells, and yeah, it's pretty interesting.